Well, good morning from the entrance road of King's Dominion. Just go down the I-95 to from Funland, which was the previous video, a little video for SBF spinning coaster. And it's about 5 minutes until opening. Not too many cars coming in. Some testing going on. So yeah, due for another day in America at this Cedar Fair Park. It is free parking with my season pass. Well, not free because I paid for it for the pass, but and also I've got the drinks deal as well today again. So it should be a cheapish day. I have to get some food at some point. Lots of stuff to get on. I think, is it 14 coasters? Kids coaster, I think they are quite strict and you're not allowed on it, but I'm going to try. I'm going to head there first before the queues build up and just trying on it. If they say no, they say no. But yeah, it's Intimidator is the main event at this park, I think. But it reminds me a lot of Kings Island with the Eiffel Tower, and we'll go up there at some point because I think that's one of the best places to get shots of the park, because a lot of the roller coasters kind of, the station's at the centre of the park and it goes outwards and you can't walk down there. So the park used to be a Paramount owned park, which I think is the same as Kings Island as well, hence why they look very similar. This is nicer though than Kings Island, I think, with the trees. So I can't remember, but with the season pass, sometimes like at Cedar Point you used to be allowed in a bit earlier and people are already on the ride, so maybe that's still the case. If so, I'll be honest, I forgot to check if you get an early access. But yeah, there's not many cars and it shouldn't be too busy, so I'm not too fussed. I'm going to try and get on the kids coaster first, get it out of the way, and then yeah, I think there's a Mack Wild Mouse or a Mara Wild Mouse. This actually is a fully inverted. I've never done one of those, so be interested to do that at some point today. Berserker, it's called. Yeah, it just looks like a normal pirate ship. It's actually not. It fully inverts. Well, I'm pretty sure it fully inverts. Being flawless. Oh, the overbank after the loop looks good. Looks quite nippy, that. Might just be on one train. Oh no! Yeah, it might just be on one train. Oh no, the station's quite big actually. Maybe I couldn't see the other train. The other train, there's a train there, but I don't know if it has 2 or 3. So they're there. You're not allowed on. Which is such an odd thing, because like, obviously for me, yeah, fine. But like, some people like don't want to do bigger stuff. They don't want to do bigger rides. So like, I just don't understand it. If there's a group of kids, like, I mean like teenagers, mucking about on there, I get that. But yeah, I don't get the whole, I just don't understand it. If adults can fit on it, obviously, and be safe. Oh well, knew that was going to be, you know, it's worth a try. I might just start on the Woodstock Express then, instead, because you don't need a kid for this one. Yeah, I might just do these two whilst I'm down here now, I think. This and the B&M Flawless. I did ask the team member and he got confused about why I'd want to go on there, so... Yeah, the Woodstock Express. It's the same as, I want to say Kings Island, but I might be wrong about that. It's good. It's like a better zipper dipper, and also if you towards the back, a couple of pops of airtime on there. The trains though are built for smaller people. I'm not very tall, and even my knees were bashing against the wood in front. So right, so I'm going to leave the floorless coaster because it's a B&M. It won't get, even if it gets a big queue, it can get through the people quite quickly. I'm going to head to the S&S free spin type coaster, which is new for this year. In fact, this area was meant to be new for last year, but then COVID, so it's new for this year. So there used to be a inverted Intamin launch coaster here called Volcano, or Volcano the Blast coaster, or something like that. And this is what they replaced it with. I'm not going to lie, I'd have much preferred the Volcano. But I did do one of these at Six Flags Great Adventure, and it was really good fun and a lot more intense than I thought it was going to be. Plus, this will have a really low throughput, so getting this done relatively early is a good idea. The theme around here is great though, except for the confetti all stuck in the trees, the ribbons. I mean, it's very quiet, so I'm hoping there's just no one here. So there should be walk on maybe. Oh no, there is some people waiting, so maybe it's down to now. But it looks great around here. A bit more theming than the Six Flags version. Yeah, there's quite a few people waiting on each side, so maybe they've just... Oh no, people are getting on. Perfect. Right, let's go and have a go.
Tight and prepare yourself to experience the power of feeling.
About 12 people in line, and now it's going to be about a half an hour queue. It's running one train and it loads 4 people from each side, so it takes 8 minutes all in for a cycle ish. The Six Flags one was amazing. The ride was okay on there, but I didn't really realise until we got off it that it's a much shorter version than the Six Flags one I did. So yeah, I mean the queue on this side's even longer actually. I'm glad I realised and came here now, because that would have been painful to queue up later and go on. It would have been absolutely like, I'd have lost my mind. Yeah, it's much slower and nowhere near as intense. There are little magnet fins to kind of make you spin and stuff, but it's nowhere near as intense as the one at Six Flags. The Six Flags one, the Joker, was it Joker I think, at Great Adventure, was really good compared to that. And obviously you could load 3 at the same time, not just 2 at the same time, but it had 3 or 4 cars on it. But it screams to me the cheapest possible installation. The theming though and everything else about it has dispatch audio, which the drums come on louder when it dispatches. Everything else is great, it's just the actual ride and loading and everything else is just a bit rubbish really. So I think this used to be called Avalanche, but it now is called Reptilian. Matt Bobsleigh coaster. I've not seen too many of these outside of Europe. So no idea what to expect. Let's go and give it a go. theme of it. It's nice to see one that isn't just themed towards an avalanche, which is what it used to be themed towards. The station looks pretty good. All the support boxes have all been redone. I didn't see it previously. I can only assume that all these have been redone to fit this new jungle expedition theme. Yeah, I'd put it somewhere like, I put it on the same sort of level as Swizer Bavana Europa Park. I have just got my first glimpse of Intimidator. It looks great, but yesterday, I said yesterday in the Superman Ride of Steel, that I wasn't a huge fan of like coasters just go around really long corners, and that's what it does. It's meant to be pretty intense apparently, but it goes down a hill and then goes around a long corner, and I don't know, but we'll see. I'm hoping I'll be pleasantly surprised. Between that and where I am now though is the indoor coaster similar to what I did yesterday, which is called Joker's Jinx, the Premier Rides launch, but in here it's actually in a building. So I'll give that a go kind of as I go past, I think. No joke, that's probably about an hour queue now to get on there. Oh. The area though is really nice. It's got drums and audio, it's not just pop music. It's also, it's just themed to spiders. I'm just leaving the area now, but yeah. I'm a bit all over the place now. There's the backlot coasters over there. Oh, there's an arrow coaster. I think it might be the same layout as Vortex as well at Kings Island. I don't know if that's gone now, but it wasn't my favourite. Let's go and do, I think it's called Flight of Fear, the indoor Premier Rides launch. That's pretty incredible as a view. Bureau of Paranormal Activity. Now, I've read that there's not as much theming in this one as there is compared to Kings Island. So I think maybe I got lucky and did the Kings Island one first, and that's the best version of these. But let's see. Oh, look at this. Looks like it's closed. With no sort of sign or no sort of information to say if it's temporary closed. Is it all day? But yeah, definitely closed. Right, in that case, let's not delay. Let's go on Intimidator 305, 305 foot. Again, it's an Intamin. I'm hoping, I'm not sure, I can't remember. I don't know whether it's over the shoulder restraints or if it's like a little T-bar. I think it might be over the shoulder ones, like the ones you get on the launch coasters. It's on 2 trains, the station's walk on, which means I'm pretty happy. Here you go. It's the layout. Loads of airtime on there. So this is one of those rides where you have to put your bag in a locker. Phones are allowed as long as we're in a zip pocket. Wow, they're quite good at positioning their signs as well, so you get a picture of the sign and the lift hill. Front row only, should we do that? Oh my god, can you imagine if this was full? It's on 2 trains, so it shouldn't take too long, the front row, but as it's the first go, looks like I'll be able to keep walking around for the back row. I always think the back row is better because you get the pullover on the back, don't you? But, right, I'll let you know what I think when I come off.
Back rider's got that ride. As the rider comes to police up, you'll unlock the lift up. That's just a dirty one.
on my front row, and yes, the first bend to the right, for a drop of that size to have a really tight first drop to the right, which you can't really see from here. Yeah, that was pretty heavy duty. That was pretty good. And then it didn't really do much. My personal highlight is this turn from left to right. It's so snappy. In fact, I think there's 3 in the ride completely. I think I enjoyed that the most. But yeah, it's one of them where just a lot of corners, long corners. Not a huge fan of that. There's no question in the speed, and obviously at the front, yeah, not blown away is the answer. Also in the station, on the front row, you can tell there's little sprinklers which are actually spraying all the wheels, which I've never actually seen before. Actually, actively spraying the wheels with water. There is also a trim just before the airtime, and it is brutal. It really slows the train down. That said, I did bang my head in bang my neck rather here on the final twist into the brake run, and if it hadn't have had that trim, it would have hurt a hell of a lot more than that. So I'm thankful for the trim, but I just think they shouldn't need. We've got so good at computers now and mathematics and physics. Why do we keep needing to slap trims on stuff to sort problems? Then saying that, I'm not a physicist, so. So this is a back row ride, and I will admit that felt a bit better. And I'm not a believer of people who say they grey out or black out on rides, really. But the bottom of that first drop, I was trying to focus my vision and I couldn't focus it. I've never really, I think I had it a little bit on Let Coaster actually. But then I wasn't really sure if I was just thinking it or... But no, that was... only came back when we got to the top of the next hill, really. So yeah, very odd experience. However, it obviously is intense then. But and also you can stay on, they're letting you re-ride it, which I'm just staggered at. I didn't think that'd ever be the case on my visits to these big American parks. I don't know whether this is just on the 12 o'clock opening, but it's now open, so... Let's go and give Flight of Fear a go. Yeah, so the one at Kings Island has a huge like UFO in there. Well, it's actually a tiny bit of a UFO and a load of mirrors, but it looks good. Oh, it's air conditioned, which is nice. Oh, it's very dark. It's darker in real life than it is on the camera. Oh yeah, it's the same. Oh, big bass rumble. Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Spirit currently down right now. Once again, Flight of Spirit currently down. We don't know how long this delay will last. You're more than welcome to wait in line, or you're more than welcome to stay. Okay, for the guests on the train, maintenance is on the way. They will get you on shortly. Do not try to get out. Okay.
Right, so it's actually half an hour later because the ride broke down just as I was about to get onto it, and because it is a quiet day, I thought I'd just wait it out. It was just interesting to see how they dealt with it. Announcements were frequent. You didn't really get any more information, but it was pretty well handled, I'd say. The actual ride is pretty much an empty building with a few lights. And this one does have a mid-course brake run, which does slow the train. The other one yesterday had the space for the brake run, but there's no brakes on it. So it does slow you down pretty much, almost to a stop. Which means the last bit isn't as wild as the one yesterday was. But still a good ride. I really like them. There should be more of them in the world, I think. Right, I'm going to go and get my drinks deal. I've not used it yet. I'm pretty thirsty. Got myself a Coke Zero. I'm going to drink this whilst queuing for the backlot stunt coaster. So again, these are all the ex-Paramount parks. I was thinking to the Italian job, I think, back in the day, hence why they look at like minis. They're quite fun, these, and the launch is quite nippy, and then you go up a double or triple helix. Very unusual. But it is designed to have special effects around it, but I think the special effects have since perished. I say it's going to be a bit of a queue, but actually, probably have my drink first, because it's not going to be that long before I'll have to chuck it away otherwise. That's the best one those have done. You did slow down for the effects section, and there are no effects other than some some sound effects and stuff. But in that last bit, where the sign is, I remember really slowing down at Canada's Wonderland for that. Really, like, that actually launched you. Fly out your seat as in the back row. Fly out your seat a little bit there, and that final, then you hit a brake run immediately after that, so it's a bit weird. But yeah, I enjoyed that. I wasn't expecting to. That was kind of one of them just to go on to get the tick. Next up is Anaconda. I'll do this once. Yeah, I think this is the same as Vortex, and I didn't enjoy Vortex at Kings Island. I think it might not be called Vortex, it might be called something else. But it looks like the layout is exactly the same, and given that there's a lot of copies here, I see no reason why it would be different. as always, a roller coaster feels like it's been designed by someone describing a roller coaster, or exactly what a curve is or what a banked turn is, over the phone in a different language or for a fax machine. Brutal. And also I got a bit unlucky because it was it went down for a bit, about 15 minutes whilst I was waiting for it as well. I could have gone somewhere else, so that's on me, but just a bit unlucky with that. But yeah, it is the same layout, I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to look out to get to the other side of the park now where Racer and Grizzly is. I think I've got to kind of go the long way around. What's going on the drink? I'm pretty sure Racer's only running one side. It's called Racer. So I might only get one side of that today. And again, I think that's a carbon copy of the one from Kings Island. Right, it's time for go on the Racer. I think we'll be racing ourselves. I'm pretty sure it's only got one train on. There's a blue and a red train. Sorry, one side on, but it is running two trains. I do remember that it was the same at Kings Island where they were only running one side, but then in the afternoon they did open up the other side. From memory. If it's quiet though, I'd rather it be running one train on each rather than two trains on one, if that makes sense. Oh, here's the Wild Mouse, and then in the background, Twisted Timbers, which is an RMC convert. Used to be a wooden coaster called Hurler. And there doesn't seem to be much of a queue for that. Oh, it's going up the stairs, about 10 minutes, which is fine. It's not a normal Mack Wild Mouse, the one that I find really impressive. This is actually a clone of Matterhorn Blitz, except from it's got a lift hill. The rest of it's exactly the same. Yeah, so I might miss out on one side of this today because obviously it's two separate ticks basically. But yeah, well, not the end of the world. To be fair, I've missed out on a Go Gator, the kids coaster here today, and now this is the first one which is properly closed. So you know what? Out of how many coasters have been at all these different parks, I think that's pretty good so far.
Out of here. Sit up straight. Hold on tight. Enjoy your ride on the Racer 75. Goodbye. Welcome back to the train. Hope you enjoyed your ride. Let me check the report.
Well, I remember Kings Island, that nearly breaking my back. That was so comfortable. There's a couple of tiny jolts, but other than that, great ride. No airtime, but still a good ride. I don't know if you can pick this up on camera, but you can use your drinks pass, but only if you can deal with, that just shouldn't be open, should it? You see them all wasps. They're all like inside the nozzles and stuff. See on the Fanta ones over there. I don't know if you can tell on the video. Yeah, that's pretty horrible. I've not seen a huge problem with wasps all around the park, so just close that one unit and serve elsewhere. Very strange to keep it open. Right, I'm trying to find Grizzly now. I'll go into the Wild Mouse first. Right, so this one's called Apple Zapple. I don't know if this is sponsored by... Is it Zapple, a brand over here? I'm not sure. all 8 cars were stationary pretty much every time. The Germans would have a heart attack watching the operation of that. It was painful. Ride was nice and smooth though, and it was trimmed like just nicely throughout, so it wasn't painful or too wild. Just take some of the cars off. There's no point in them being on. I was a bit confused at how you get to the Grizzly, and apparently it's through the shop, which is strange. I'm going to enjoy the air conditioning for 5 seconds. Oh yeah, that is quite nice. Never seen a POV of this. There's a go-kart track here. That ruins the you know, the old town wooden aesthetic with the smell of petrol fumes. Is it down here? Oh, I mean, this is tucked away, isn't it? I'm not too sure how I'm going to get any shots of it because it is literally in the woods. Maybe from the top of the Eiffel Tower, actually. Okay, it's just nice to be in the shade. It's proper hot again today now. Right to the back. I always tend to sit one in front because then it's not. Again, this looks reminds me very much of the Beast. I have no idea what it's like. Only running the one train, but it doesn't need to be on 2, and I'd rather that than have to wait forever on the brake run. Bit bumpy, a lot more bumpy than Racer 75. No Beast by a long way. But yeah, through the woods it's quite good, and I had no idea what to expect on there. There's 2 big bits of airtime, which is just before the tunnel. I was sat in the back. But yeah, so that's coaster number 10 today, and now it's time for coaster number 11, which is a special coaster. So the reason why I waited to do that ride on Grizzly and then come back to this is because this is coaster number 600. Now, it doesn't seem long ago since it was coaster 500, and it was the god-awful Cobra coaster at, I can't remember, it's a German park. I can't remember the name of the park now. I've heard good things about this. It's like I say, it's a convert. It's only small, but I imagine it's going to be pretty good from what I've heard. You need to get a locker, and so if it's one of them where it's like, it says hourly locker rental, so I might do this a few times. It's walk on queue, so I'll see you when I come off. was the highlight of the day. Fact. That's probably my second favourite RMC of like this style, behind Steel Vengeance. But right at the back, I've had 6 rides on it, and 4 of them were just sat in the same seat going round. They always say you can't really ride an RMC, but I don't know whether it's just a extra bit of room on that lap bar on the back right, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was just amazing. The ride I had after that wasn't as comfortable, so I definitely hit the sweet spot on that one. And they weren't pushing down, like on Steel Vengeance they pushed down on you like a lot, but they weren't too fussed on there. But that was definitely the highlight of the day. It looks like a storm was brewing, so I'm going to try and run over and get the final credit, which is the B&M Flawless. Just haven't got yet. This looks like a storm. Slightly worried about getting here before I get to go on the B&M Flawless. Is it down this way? I can't remember now. Yeah, let's try this way. Okay, I've just looked at the radar and it doesn't look good. In fact, the rain has just started. Rain is okay, but the moment it starts lightning, they'll go into full shutdown mode, I imagine. So I don't care which seat I get, just our seat. It's meant to be heavy rain in the next 10 to 20 minutes, so. And ideally, I don't want to stay here all day waiting for it to reopen. Really enjoyed that. Probably my favourite B&M Flawless so far. As in this trip. I can't really. None others have made a really impression on me. A little bit jolty, a little bit, not much. But I like the fact that after the first loop, which is huge, reminded me a little bit like Dragon Khan, there was then 2 high-speed turns before the next inversion, because normally it's just like bam, 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 one after the other. So that being a little bit different was nice. Right, I'm going to try and do the drop tower, because I don't know who that drop tower's by, but it looks pretty good. It has this ridiculously sized gondola on it. And then I'm not sure what else I want to do. It depends on what the weather. If we just start thunder and lightning and everything shuts down, I will call it a day. Oh, actually, let's go to the Eiffel Tower, because we've not done that yet, and that will definitely shut if it starts thunder and lightning. So there are steps going all the way to the top. Interesting to try and walk it. Let's see, but I've not seen the lift going actually, so it might close due to the rain. If it has closed, not to worry. Yeah, it seems very quiet. The lifts have been going, but it just seemed very quiet now. No, I was wrong. It is open. Just waiting for the lift to come down. It's a bit windy up here, but it is actually a nice breeze. You see the idea of how busy the car park is. I'd argue that isn't busy at all. Also, I can't believe they let you have your phones out. On the other side, there's just nothing stopping you just dropping it. This elevator is broken, so we're now having to go through here. So there's some stairs. We just come up, and there's a second floor. I didn't know that. This one is not on the shelves. Maybe when it's bad weather, because underneath if you're underneath, then you're not going to get wet. So maybe this is just closed during wet weather. I didn't know there was two different floors that you could go onto. Obviously, it means you can have two sets of people, and they're always going to be evenly distributed. There you go, a little bit of fun. So yeah, I did wonder why we were waiting for the lift for ages. It turns out there's a problem. So yeah, we got to go to the top. I don't know if the tops. I think it must be surely just when it's raining. It's nicer to go to the one underneath because then you stay dry up there, right? So we were there about half an hour all in. But I had great luck today with stuff breaking down around me. But storm never materialised, not over the park anyway, so I'm going to walk down this way. I'm going to go on the drop tower, which is the only real thing that I really want to do now. And then I'm going to walk back up past the log flume and the rapids just to have a nosy. Probably won't go on it. I won't go on either. And then probably call it a day. It's not far tonight. I think it's about an hour and a half drive to the next hotel. And then tomorrow I'm going to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. And then it's like 10 minutes down the road. But after Busch Gardens, and that's a busy park day, that's like, there's a lot to do there. I've then got to drive 4 hours down to Carowindish. That's the biggest drive of the trip. I mean, it'll be a fine drive. Like, this route that I've done, I've not driven more than 2 hours in one section, other than the Carowinds drive. And then I'm flying back to JFK from Charlotte, and then flying from JFK back to London. And it's been absolutely, like, I've not felt overly tired from travelling. One part of that is I don't spend the full days at the parks if I don't need to, and I haven't, because the queues have been insane in a great way. Let's go to find the drop tower. This suddenly looks very high. Where do we go? It's called Drop Tower. Down this way. I've never quite seen a gondola like. I imagine this used to be, surely, some sort of observation tower, which they've retrofitted with some what looks to be scaffolding, because it's such a big gondola. I don't know of any that are bigger than that. So I'm excited to give it a go. And also the brakes start really low down on this as well.
Drop you down 32 miles per hour. From there down. Goodbye.
I've just realised this drop tower has 4 operators at 4 different stations, and they're all making parts of the announcement each. Are they all responsible for a different colour on the floor? Who knows? Really like drop tower. I would stay on it and go on it again if it wasn't for so much faff. You got to check every gate twice, check every bar, and it just took forever. There is a part of me when you're going down on that, it's like we're getting close to the bottom now. Obviously, I'm used to brakes kicking in a little bit earlier, so it was good, because you did get that feeling of like we're still travelling at full speed. And we're getting close to the floor, so it's Wasmageddon around here. Right, I'm going to go for a walk now, up past the rapids, past the log flume, and then probably call it a day. There is also rapids. It's quite a walk though, so I decided to just skip a little clip of it. So I'm going to head to the entrance now. I think that's the end of my day here at King's Dominion. Strangely enough, no carnival stuff. I thought it would have been carnival stuff set up in the same way as the other Cedar Fair parks, but yeah. So I was doing some sort of other show. Right, that's it for my day here at King's Dominion. I've had a fantastic day, once again due to very small queue times. I mean, everything's been on 2 trains still, even though everything's also been on walk-on. Even the Snoopy Express, or what's it called? Woodstock Express, that's now on 2 trains. Highlight has to be Twisted Timbers. It's so small, I just thought it was going to be like a not as good like Untamed or something, but to me, that second ride I had on it, the back right seat, really loose restraint, it was just completely comfortable. I could have sat on that and done that all day. But every other ride, it was a little bit painful, and you couldn't keep on going back to back on it. Negatives, the new ride on one train is a mad decision, absolute mad decision. Because it doesn't even look like it's got any transfer track, unless, obviously, I don't really know how they get the trains on and off that. Yeah, the SNS free spin. And also, the ride itself is nowhere near as good as the Joker one I did a couple of Great Adventure. So, other than that, tomorrow, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. I can film on ride there tomorrow. If I can be bothered with the faff of the GoPro, I have to go and get it signed off and stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It's very kind of you if you do that. And we've still got Busch Gardens to go, and also Carowinds, the 2 parks we've got left to do before I start to make my way back to the UK. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video.